All right, good morning, everybody. So, happy Friday. Today, we're going to start talking about something called a dot plot. So, grab your notes. Remember, make sure you put your name on the top of them. Let's get started talking about dot plots today. So, a dot plot is a diagram that shows data values as dots or other marks, they're usually going to be X's, above a number line. So, we've got some pictures down here. We have skewed left. We have these three pictures, and these are all examples of dot plots. Now, depending on the shape that the dots make, we call them three different things. So, this one, see how there's an empty space on the left? We call this skewed left. This side, it makes a really nice even curve. And it's pretty much the same on both sides, so we call this shape symmetric. And then this last one, see how there's an empty space kind of over here to the right? We call this skewed right. So today, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do is we're going to look at some data, and we're going to use a number line to plot all these dots. Once we are done plotting all the dots, we're going to go back and decide, is it going to be skewed left shape? Is it a symmetric shape? Or is it a skewed right shape? So let's go on and look at example 1. Okay, in example 1, the table below shows the amount of hours 6th grade boys spend playing video games each day. We have this list of all of these different numbers. Place as many X's above each number as there are responses for that number. So the way I do this is I take a look, here's 1. I find 1 and I'm going to put an X above 1. And then I cross out 1. Same thing, next number is 3, put an X above 3, cross out 3. Put an X above 2, cross out 2. Put another X above 1, cross out 1. Put another X above 3, cross out 3. That's my dog being angry. Sorry, guys. I'm going to put another X above 2, cross out 2. Put an X above 5, cross out 5. X above 2, cross out 2. X above 4. And we're just going to keep on doing this all the way till we run out of numbers. We have 3. Another 1, 2, 2, 0, 1, 3, 4, 3, 5, 2, Riley. So my dog's name is Riley, so if you hear barking and you hear me yelling at Riley, that's what's happening. Sorry, guys. 6, 2, and then 3. Now, the other thing is we do need to put titles and labels on our dot plots. So this is how many hours boys play video games. And what these numbers down here represent, they represented the hours. So now that we have this, we're going to talk about what's its overall shape. So see how I have everything on this side and then there's this big empty space to the right? We would call this skewed right. You're always looking for where the empty space is. Big empty space on the right, so I'm going to write this as skewed to the right. And that's example 1. So now that we've done that, we're going to keep on going and we're going to do the same thing for example 2. But sometimes our data is going to look a little bit different because it's not all in one list. It could be in a chart. So let's read what this data is talking about. Katie asked her classmates how many siblings they each had. She recorded the following results. Make a dot plot to represent the data. So she asked people if they had 0 siblings, and 3 of her classmates said yes, they had 0 siblings. So above 0, I'm going to put 3 X's. She asked her classmates how many had 1 sibling, and there were 4. So I'm going to put 4 X's. For 2, we have 6, so I'm going to put 6 X's. For 3, I'm going to have 4 X's. For 4, there is a 0, so I'm not going to put anything there. And for 5, I have 1. So we're going to put 1X. All right, so when I take a look at this data, I also still have to make sure that there's a title on it. So this represented, what did she ask her classmates? How many siblings? So this is how many siblings. And what do my numbers down here represent? The number of siblings. So for this, now I have to describe the overall shape and take a look. Where do you see the empty spot? Well, my empty spot is on the right. So again, we're going to say this is skewed right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so let's take a look at our last one. Make a dot plot for the set of data. Describe the data. Let's see what it says. It's talking about calories in a serving of peanut butter. And something to notice this time we don't have any tick marks on the bottom of our interval. So we're going to have to pick those tick marks ourselves. So what's my smallest number in this list? Well, looks like it's 160. What's my largest number? Well, looks like 210. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to count by tens. And I'm going to start with something a little bit smaller than 160. Let's start with 150. So 150, 160, 170, 180. Sorry, I'm going to count by fives. Looks like I have a little bit more space. So 150, 155, 160, 165, 170, 175, 180, 185, 190, 195, 200, 205, 210, 215. I'm sorry, I said 210 and I wrote 211. That makes no sense. Fix that one. 210 and 220. Oh, goodness. That was a mess. So what I'm doing is I got to pick this. I took a look at my data set and said, what made sense to count by? So I was like, oh, well, everything's ending in either a 0 or a 5, so maybe by 5s would be a good thing to count by. And I looked at my smallest and my biggest to get an idea of the range I was going to have to cover. So now we get to put our X's. Okay, for 190, there's my X. 160, there's an X. 210, there's an X. Another 210, there's an X. 200, there's an X. 185, there's an X. 190, 190, 185, 200, 190, 210, 190, 185, 200, and 200. Okay, so this talked about peanut butter. And down here, this represented the calories. So this is the amount of calories. Last piece, I have to describe the shape. Take a look, where do you see an empty part? Well, it looks pretty empty over here. So because it's empty on the left, I'm going to say it's skewed left. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all for today. Thanks, and see you guys Monday.